Previously, I mentioned about vibration, waves, frequency of light, in its comparison to the act of faith, and it is so important to our understanding of the universe and reality. This is because everything has a frequency, a rate of vibration. What's more amazing is that the ancients knew this as well, thousands of years ago. I have a question for you. Who wrote, or where can we find the phrase, "In the beginning was the Word"? Aha! Someone's been doing their research. Yes, in the Veda, written sometime between 1200 and 800 before the Common Era. More commonly, people say, in the Synoptic Gospel of John, but both are right. It's not that one copied the other. It's more akin to not knowing who invented the wheel. For often, the invention has been created in a similar time frame in various locations across the globe at the same time. For example, it's like the Archimedes screw, attributed to Archimedes, but the Babylonians have been using the concept a lot earlier than a person that has been historically attributed to. The point being that more than one person can arrive at a particular understanding or create something. Anyway, let's get back to our quote. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. This is identical to in the beginning was Prajapati, which is Brahman, with whom was the Word, and the Word was verily Brahman. Both versions indicate that the source of all creation is based on sound, moreover, words. In the book of Genesis, which is heavily influenced by Persian thought after being edited, possibly by someone called Ezra, we read that God spoke words of creation, such as, "Let there be light." The majority of people think that this is just a novel way of portraying creation with a narrator. But the truth is, everything vibrates, whether you see it or not. There's something called sonoluminescence, which is a method of generating light from sound. I shan't explain the full process, save the obvious that sound can produce light. And scientists also posit that this effect can happen in neutron stars. So the idea that a word or a sound per se can create light is supported by science to a certain degree. You see, wavelengths are so integral to virtually everything. We observe them directly when watching the television or listening to the radio or music. These vibrations are translated into color for visual information, for each color has its own frequency. Even the universe itself has its own frequency, which is somewhere in the region of 432 Hz, I believe. But there's still some dispute over if the sound is like the note B flat or A4. Regardless of this, we know that everything has its own sound. The Bhagavad Gita tells us, "I am Om, the Word, that is God." And there are various schools of thought that believe that certain tones can soothe and heal. However, my interest has always been with color when it comes to frequencies. There is a condition known as synesthesia, whereby someone's senses observe or perceive music or color or taste in different ways. For example, they may interpret colors as sounds or taste music. Now, inasmuch as it might seem odd, when one thinks about it, it's not that really odd at all. For everything does, indeed, have a frequency. If you hear color, is that unreasonable? If you see music, is this unusual? Maybe, but it might just be that the individual is tuned in, so to speak, in a unique way. Yet my fascination regarding colour is due primarily to the observation science has made that when we see a colour, what we are actually perceiving is the absence of the colour. Yes, it's suggested that we don't see red, but the absence of the colour red, or any other colour. This would beg the question, why? For all things which we perceive have shape, texture, and colour. Do we see the absence of a tree? As we can see the tree, feel it, and it seems so real, yet the colours of the tree are absent. This relates back to when I spoke of the nature of reality and how what we believe shapes our reality. If we, as beings of matter and colour, have perishable bodies which are littered with colour, such as brown hair, green eyes, tan skin, etc., and are only probably real due to the quantum idea of the universe only possibly existing, and we are told that these colours we observe are the absence of the colour. What does that mean? It means that what we believe as the universe and the entirety of creation is not what it actually appears to be. Our reality is just one version of events. Tell me, what is more reasonable? That we are alone, seeking other forms of life in the vast darkness of the universe? Or is it that the universe is actually teeming with life and other things, and we see only its absence? Yes, it's almost paradoxical, and I firmly believe that we need to explore the ranges of frequency in order to see what is really there. I believe that we need to tune in to what we perceive as void and view what is actually there. You see, there's this notion the ancients had, which some call the Akasha. Basically, it's the idea that all memories of anything and everything that existed are held in the universe, like a database, or cloud, as we call it these days. It is true that the cosmos recycles everything, and that when we view the cosmos, we are effectively looking at the past, and see the light from so-called dead stars, which is still travelling to us, and our relative position in space-time. So we can see this by using equipment to pick up and detect this information, using various wavelengths, and the intensity of the observation is measured in wavelengths also. In this way, again, we see the absence of something from long ago, and it appears very present with us now. But how can this be? It is because we don't fully understand existence and reality, except for the few like us who are viewing science, the spiritual, and philosophy together. And this is why people like Nikola Tesla understood that it is wavelengths, frequency, and vibration that we need to study in order to see the unseen. I also find it quite amusing that the scientific community so often don't talk to each other, like the right hand doesn't know what the left is doing. But only a few years ago, quantum physicists discovered that the universe only possibly exists, as Niels Bohr suggested. And then, at the same time, they sent up this amazing telescope, the James Webb Telescope, to see into the depths of the cosmos. And they say, wow, we didn't expect to see that. What they are really seeing is something that only probably existed. The left and right hands need to talk to each other. It's only by looking at undiscovered frequencies that we will truly research and understand the creation, creator, and cosmos. For what we are seeing at the moment is the absence of a universe that only probably exists. The ancients knew this, but us modern folk, we have become somewhat detached from this understanding. So we must look to the past to aid us in future research.